I've been asked to share with you why I give to Hope. The most simple and direct reason I give to Hope in my community is because God, through the Bible, has told me to do so. He is very clear, and I believe in that with all my heart. A solid example of this for me comes in Deuteronomy, where it says, "Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord your God that he has given you." This has two parts for me, the reason and the request. To backtrack, I had taken on the challenge of reading the Bible cover to cover twice in the last couple years. It was a pretty cool experience for me, and I learned a ton, with the act of giving being one of those learnings. I found that giving is something that is often mentioned in the Bible, so I'm trying to remember that and take it seriously. I tried to stay on God's good side when it comes to things He asks me to do, and even though I fall short, I feel like this one is probably for me one of the easier ones if I set my mind to it. The second part of that verse from Deuteronomy is important for me to reflect on and leads me to the next reason I give, to show my gratitude for the blessing that He has given you. One day, I really took the time to reflect on the fact that every single thing I have had, want, or will want in the future is from God. Everything, without exception. God has been very generous to me, and I'm not just talking about material things. One of the greatest gifts I have ever experienced is love. Love from my family, love from my husband, love from God. Let's face it, everyone has a desire to be loved and have someone or something to love in return. Not so ironically, love was invented by God. So then I switched gears to a material perspective, and I really got to thinking, there is nothing on this planet that is here without God creating it. And I have all of these things so abundantly. It's pretty incredible to me, and I am thankful. Think of it. Some things don't take a 9 to 5, like breathing, but we have lots of air. It's always available, and there's a lot of it. My heart beats, and I don't even have to ask it to. Then there are things I must work for, but even that isn't without God's hand and generosity. I got to thinking how blessed I am that God gave me the ability to think and the health to work, to earn money which I can exchange for food and a warm place to live. And here we go again. God gave us the planet that produces the food, and to someone He gave the intellect to invent shelter. It goes on and on. I have come to realize I have nothing without God's gifts, which are so numerous, and I do nothing for them. I am grateful, and that's why I give. Sometimes I can see in my mind a family on Christmas morning or a birthday party whose parents just want the day to be so special for their child. They give them everything they could want and more just because they are the parents and they love their child. Presents, friends to celebrate with, laughing, happiness, and how proud those parents must be to see their child sharing their new toys or cake and ice cream with their friends. Or with a stranger that maybe was invited because they live down the street, or another guest that maybe doesn't even have those same blessings. When I think of a scenario, I realize in a grown-up way that I am that child and God is that parent. How proud can I make Him to share in the gifts He has given me? It is the least I can do for God to give back to Him through generosity to others. To quote 1 Chronicles 29:14, "But who am I and who are my people that we should be able to give as generously as this? Everything comes from you, and we have given you only what comes from your hand." I find this to be a relevant quote for me. Lastly, in all my life, God has never failed me. Where would I be without Him? Lost, forgotten, without hope, without understanding, not knowing unconditional love and sacrifice and forgiveness? Helping others experience God's love is something I want to share. I believe it is my purpose, showing God's love and grace through myself and others. I know to do that takes resources and a team. Hope as a congregation is that team, and I can support that with resources. God has blessed me with more resources than I can count. I have time, I have health, and I have money if I budget wisely and put God first. 2 Corinthians 9:11 says, "You will be enriched in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion, and through us your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God." Giving to Hope for me is one way I can touch others. The congregation does so many things for this little corner of the world and others as well. I like to think that maybe my offering makes it to the hands of someone in need. Maybe it buys a Bible for someone lost in the world. Maybe it puts a canned good in a backpack of a child whose parents cannot afford lunch on the weekends. Maybe it simply keeps the lights on here at Hope so that others may have a place to experience God's grace and blessings. Thank you for asking me to speak today. Hope to me is not just a place I can come to for fellowship. It is also a place where God's love is learned, shared, and demonstrated. We help feed hungry people, both with food and with the Word of God. The generosity of our congregation at Hope can be a vessel to deliver God's love and grace to others, and so that is why I choose to give to Hope in my community.